listen better. If you close your eyes, you start hearing more closely, more carefully. And if you want to see better, if you're watching television, you turn the sound off. You start then noticing that the news broadcaster has this twitch or something, and you begin to see things in a different way if you're not hearing what's being said. And in my case, it's a little bit sometimes like putting a radio drama with a silent movie. Or can I create something that I can see better when I'm listening? Or can what I'm hearing help me see better than when my eyes are closed? Can my eyes be open and suddenly I hear better? And I know when I did Lohengrin at the Metropolitan Opera, it was hell. We had 150 people in the chorus. To get the chorus to walk against the rushing music of Wagner, because they always sing by walking on the beat of the music. That's how they can sing. And here they have to walk against the music. So the music was rushing and going quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker, and their movements were slower and slower and slower. And many of them said, we can't sing if we have to walk this way. Eventually they did, and that's what created the tension. Suddenly I was hearing this music that was rushing and rushing and rushing, and what I was seeing was something else. And that's what created a kind of architectural tension. By what I was hearing and what I was seeing together, ideally helps me hear and see better.
Right.
So that's part of the structuring.
Mr. Glass, I'm wondering whether the first production of Einstein on the Beach with the final two performances at the Metropolitan Opera, with sold out full house, and we are talking about the house with 4,500 seats. Did it change radically your life as a composer?
No, not really. Einstein was more the end of a series of experiments in music I've been making, in the same way that Bob had been working for a long time too. We happened to meet at a common crossroads. It was interesting. I had been seeing Bob's work. I saw the Letter Queen Victoria, and the Life and Times of Stalin. Thank you, Bob. Sometimes a bit more. And so we knew each other's work, but Bob was working with a very talented Michael Galasso, a very talented composer, violinist. He was working with Inge de Groot for choreography, and so he was coming out of a body of work, and I was coming out of a body of work. We met at it. One of the interesting things that I thought about was that what was interesting about Einstein was that we met. We were both on our own paths, but the paths happened to meet at that place. And that we were about the same age, a little bit older than Bob, but not much. But we had the same kind of experiences in a way, though particularly, there were particular ones that were different, but that we each brought to Einstein we were a fairly well-developed technique, background. One thing that we discovered right away, that we admired many of the same people. We were very involved with Morris Cunningham and John Cage and that older generation. But that there were so many commonalities, because although Bob was from Texas and I'm from Maryland, so we didn't grow up in the same city at all. And yet when we met at that time, we weren't children either. We had been working for a while, so that we both had a body of work when we met. And what we brought to it was a kind of I think we had a kind of equalness in terms of the techniques that we had arrived at to express what we needed to do. And And one of the interesting things was that I've told people this thing. We talked a lot about the work, but we didn't actually explain very much to each other about what we were doing. We talked about the structure. We talked about time. Uh, I said very little to Bob about the staging, and he said very little about the music. One of the, I think, it's one of the most interesting things, and it was rather easy for us to do. We accepted each other, and whatever Bob did was what he did, and what I did was what I did, and it seemed to fit. And we didn't go into the mechanics of how that worked that much. It became a process. By the way, since then we've done about 4 or 5 other pieces, but not that regularly. But maybe every 8 or 10 years we would do it. 7 or 8 years we would do another piece. So there's another body of work, which are the pieces that we've done together, which is interesting because that's changed too. If you just looked at the pieces like the White Raven, we were just talking about that today, or the Civil Wars and some of the
pieces coming after the
Monsters of Grace. So there is a history of our relationship in working together, which is not static, which has evolved as well.